Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing the Indianapolis Colts 3-round mock draft. We did a full 3-round mock draft for all 32 teams, and these will be the Colts selections. But before we do that, we have a fun announcement. If you like putting a couple bucks down on a game that you're watching here, click the link down below. We have partnered with BetUS for all of our viewers here, and they're doing a fun promotion right now for all first-time players with a 125% match to all their free games, and then also to some of their online casino games as well. So if you like playing maybe a little bit of slots, or if you like betting on the football games or the Triple Crown horse races are coming up here, want to bet a little bit on the ponies, hit the link down below and get a 125% match for all first-time players. And Ryan, let's get into it here. So we want to include a little bit of what the Colts have done so far into the offseason so far. A lot of re-signing, which I think is a good thing. They've kept a lot of the important guys like Michael Pittman as well, Grover Stewart, Zaire Franklin as well. They've added a couple of key pieces. I think a guy like Raekwon Davis. I think you have a guy like Joe Flacco. I mean, shoot, we all saw what he did in Cleveland and how he can still sling it. A guy like Anthony Richardson, he only played in 6 games last year. I think 4. It only finished 2 or 3. So I have to see his injury prone, see if he can stay healthy during a time. And at minimum, just know that you have that backup QB spot solidified as well. Gardner Minshew, congratulations to him. He got $25 million. Bravo. He mastered the football business. They did move on from Zach Moss and Isaiah McKenzie. I don't think that's that big of a deal at all. So in general, I don't think the teams changed too much, which isn't a bad thing. I think they kept a lot of the key pieces, primarily Michael Pittman. And so I think you have Trey Sermon and Jonathan Taylor. I think your backfield is solidified. There have been some other moves as well, and so these are just some of the notable ones that we wanted to include. But what do you think overall, kind of what the Colts have done so far in this offseason? Would you like to see them be more aggressive, or are you happy that they stay the status quo?
I'm kind of happy that they stayed the status quo. I think with Anthony Richardson coming back, this offense should be better. Even it was already good last year. To me, maybe I'm not sure. We kind of address it in this mock draft, but I would like to see them be a little bit more stout in the defensive interior. Not to give away our picks, but I look at this team and that, I remember going to the Falcons game and the Falcons ran the ball all over them.
That was such a weird game. The Michael Pittman didn't play, and I mean, they made Taylor Heineke look like a Pro Bowler. And so I'm now kind of pissed off on it because we could probably pick in the top 5 if it wasn't for that game.
Yeah, honestly. But no, and so that this is already a good team. They were in contention for the division up until the final game last year, and so all in all, the loss of Gardner Minshew is probably the biggest. But even then, he got $25 million from the Raiders, and you're not going to match that. So
no.
Let's get into our picks here. And starting off, we're going to go with Brock Bowers here. This was kind of a weird situation where he was just the best player available by, I think, a pretty large margin, especially when you looked at kind of some of the players that were on the board that the Colts may or may not have needed. And do they need a tight end as elite as Brock Bowers? No, but I think this offense would take such a big leap forward if they are able to add him to this roster. And I think he now becomes the number 2 option behind Michael Pittman Jr. He can line up in line as a traditional Y tight end. He can line up outside an X or a Z receiver, honestly, and he's so good after the catch. His athleticism, I think, and then you have Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, and then Anthony Richardson if he can stay healthy.
Josh Downs as well.
Yeah, Josh Downs. He would then become this offense would then become one of the most athletic offenses in the league, if not the most athletic offense. So getting a guy like him here, I think he fits super well into this offense.
He's almost, because with tight ends, it's interesting too, because it's almost like quarterbacks a little bit. You don't really know where they're going to fall. I could see an argument that the Chargers at 5, well, not anymore. They're going to take a receiver, I think. But just moving on with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But I can see an argument where the Titans technically maybe could want to take him at 7, but I could also see him falling even past here, and maybe the Bengals get him at 18. It's going to be very unique because he's such a powerful prospect, and now everybody saw what Sam Laporta did for Detroit last year, and everybody's going to want a guy like that. And Brock Bowers can absolutely be that guy. I think you put him here in the Shane Steichen offense, it's going to be almost unfair. Then if Richardson can stay healthy as well, though, with his cannon. And I know he's not the best receiver, but still Alec Pierce with his deep ball capabilities.
Yeah.
Teams got to respect that, and with Anthony Richardson's arm, just a couple of deep throws a game, it's going to open up things underneath. And then you already, as you mentioned, Josh Downs, Brock Bowers, and Michael Pittman. I think they can absolutely terrorize a bunch of defenses. So I think it's a great pick. Let's move on now to the next selection as well here, having gone with Kamari Lassiter at the cornerback position. Secondary is still in need, in our opinion, even though they did re-sign Kenny Moore and Ronnie Harrison. But I think quarterback's definitely going to be an area in the secondary just as a whole, whether it be free safety, strong safety, or nickelback. In general, I like their front seven. So it's like they could get a little bit bigger. Yes. Foreshadowing, but I still think they're going to address secondary first. So they don't go with Brock Bowers. You can absolutely see them going with the Quinion Mitchell or Nate Wiggins at number one. Here, Kamari Lassiter was kind of the best one on the board. And there is a pretty decent little drop from like Enos Rakestraw, Kamari Lassiter to, TJ Tampa, like those kind of guys. And then the next wave of quarterbacks, which is going to be like late round 3, according to our player projections. So,
like the Kyrie Jacksons of the world. Yeah.
So I think here's going to be the best spot for them to get a corner if they go with an offensive player in the first round.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like Kamari Lassiter's game. He's not the most physical, but he can play inside, outside, and he's a good athlete. So I like what he brings to the table. And I think for the Colts, you have your number one corner in Juju Brents. And I think Kamari Lassiter would be a good kind of second fiddle there. But let's move on now to the last pick here. Let's Brandon Dorlus, the defensive tackle out of Oregon. So I said we kind of added beef to the middle there. He is a little bit of an undersized defensive tackle. I think he's about 6'3", like 290 to 300 pounds, kind of in that range. And getting him next to DeForest Buckner, that's just going to provide good interior pressure, allow those edge rushers in pass rushing situations to really pin their ears back and get after the quarterback in true like one-on-one matchups.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the big things is like they just didn't stop the run all that well last year up front, like that front four. And so maybe you look at a guy, Chris Jenkins from Michigan, who's going to be that beefier guy. Tavondre Sweat, maybe they go that route in the second round instead of a corner and get like that big defensive tackle to put in the middle. And so getting a Tavondre Sweat would be a big statement, I think, for that front four. But
no pun intended.
And so I like this pick. They get another pass rushing defensive tackle. They can add maybe a meteor guy later in the draft there.
I think with these 3 picks, they just get just solid players, especially to Brock Bowers. I mean, he's going to come in and be an absolute stud. I think he's going to take that offense to the next level. And it was already on a pretty decent level as well. But then those next 2 picks, I think guys, still some developmental pieces, but have high ceilings if they can get the right combination there. And I think add good depth as well to already some of the starters that are there. So in general, I think the Colts have had a good offseason so far. I think if they have a draft similar to this, it would be a B+, A- draft for me right there, because they already were right there on the cusp with a backup quarterback as well. So if Anthony Richardson can develop and take this team even further this year, it's possible that we're going to see a much more amazing Week 18 matchups for the division with the Colts and Texans or Jags or Titans. AFC South division all of a sudden became really good.
Well,
they became really good.
Yeah, at the end of last year, going into the 2023 season, we were both like, this division sucks.
Jags.
The Jags are going to be a shoe-in.
They could be the number 1 seed. And now I know we're making fun of the Jags. They did have some serious injury concerns.
Oh, yeah.
But then, the Titans with the moves that they've made, the Colts now, Shane Steichen's really got this offense going here. They could improve a little bit on the defense. And then the Texans are, geez Louise, holy cow. So they're a stud team now. Yeah.
So all in all, I think for the Colts, this would be a fantastic draft. Let's go ahead and wrap this up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this Indianapolis Colts 3-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you do differently? And on that, we'll see you guys next time.